In this video, we're going to learn about fabrics. In previous lessons, we've showed that a 3D fabric is comprised of a texture image and the drape physics. In this lesson, we'll be discussing how to use fabrics. Fabrics can be found in the Materials Libraries tab of the left side resources. This is a cloud-based asset library that is included with the software. In this tab, we are able to search for and download materials by name utilizing the search bar, refresh the cloud source connection, and add a U3M material library. You can find more information on U3M materials and libraries in a separate video. To download a fabric from the library, we click on the image. When the cloud icon disappears, the fabric is ready for use in the Materials Garment tab. Once a fabric is downloaded from the cloud, it is stored in the cache and is saved locally for future use. When downloading a cached fabric, there will be a plus sign in the upper left corner. This icon will only show if you have downloaded the fabric previously. Check this to add the fabric to the garment. From the Garment tab, we are able to view the fabrics in use, fabrics not in use, and the back side of the fabric. When we hover over a fabric thumbnail, we can access more options in the hamburger menu. These options include clone fabric, rename, reset color, and more. Selecting clone fabric, a second icon of the fabric appears. We now have a copy of the fabric that can be adjusted separately. Remember, we can hide and show our materials in the 2D window. To use a fabric, we turn on our Assign tool, ensure we have selected the fabric thumbnail, then click on pattern pieces or parts of the garment to assign fabric accordingly. We can assign in 2D or 3D window. Since the fabric has changed, the garment drape will change. You will see the dress button change to Update 3D button to notify you that the simulation is waiting to be updated. We need to click Dress to simulate the new fabric physics. It's a best practice to check the Dress button after a fabric change. The length of the simulation is determined by you. As a beginner, we suggest to wait a few seconds for the new drape to take effect before clicking Finish to end the simulation. For fabrics that we have downloaded from the asset libraries, the fabric physics have already been added. We can click the Physics button on the contextual menu to view the fabric physics. This dialog box shows the database that the fabric physics were added from, and all values that were derived from testing the fabric with the fab machine. These values determine fabric's drape and stretch. We do not recommend changing the values. We are also able to add fabrics via the hamburger icon on the Material Resources pane. Click Add Fabric, and we'll be able to select image or vector files like PNG, JPEG, AI, Photoshop, and TIFF, as well as U3M files saved on our computer. U3M files should be similar to downloaded assets from the asset libraries, meaning that it should already include the fabric textures and physics. When adding just an image or vector file as a fabric, the physics of the fabric will be default physics and the fabric will not drape as it would in real life. For example, if we add just a denim image as a fabric, the physics would not automatically be of denim physics. It would be default physics. We will then need to match the image to the correct physics for what we have available on our database. This will be covered in more detail in a separate video. We can see the fabric texture image is tiled or repeated to fill each pattern piece. Each fabric is comprised of the main image, diffuse, and corresponding texture maps to build a 3D visual in the simulation window. You can find more information about material maps in a separate video. Let's look at the texture options on the right side context menu. To view this menu, select a fabric thumbnail from the Material Resources tab using the Texture tool. The fabric has a face image and a back image, with the ability to adjust each separately. To copy the image and maps from face to back, we select this arrow, and to do the same with the opposite arrow to copy from back to face. We can also adjust the material's transparency. The Advanced Options section is related to material maps, which we cover in a separate video. The Fur section allows us to apply a fur effect to our materials. We will cover this function in detail in a later video. Here's one last tip to remember. A simulated garment requires the pattern piece to have a fabric assigned. If we remove a fabric that is currently used, we will not be able to see the garment in the 3D window until a new fabric is assigned to those pieces. In this video, you've learned how to use fabrics. For more information, check out the Browseware Help Center.